Hey everybody, Scott here. Hope you're having a great day. I've been receiving a few questions about what exactly I mean when I refer to the elasticity of buyers and sellers to interest rates in this market. It's a key concept because I think it's one of the main reasons that we are not going to duplicate the 2008 housing crash in 2023. And it's really something to think about. I realize a lot of you understand the concept of market elasticity, but for those who may not be so fresh on the idea, I'm going to give a quick example. If you're confident that you understand it, go ahead and skip forward to the next break. Let's assume you live in Phoenix, it's August, and you're going to do a lemonade stand tomorrow. You make your lemonade the night before. When you get up in the morning, you take your sign that says 50 cents a cup and you go outside, only to find out you're breaking heat records. And for some reason, there is no water available. So you are the only game in town. You've got lemonade and there's nothing else to drink. Well, you can take your sign that said 50 cents and you can change that price to whatever you want. Because if it's 115 degrees in August and you're the only source of drinking fluid, you can demand price you want. So you can change the 50 cents to $2, $1, whatever you want. You will sell out of your lemonade. That means your sales are very inelastic to price. You can make the price higher or lower and you're still going to sell the same amount of lemonade. Now, let's go to the next day. Your neighbor saw your idea and sets up his own lemonade stand. And the water's back on. So you get out your 50-cent sign and put it up, but your neighbor is selling his for 40 cents. You're going to lose all your sales because you're in the same neighborhood with the same product and he's got a lower price. You are now very elastic. If you were to drop your price to 35 cents, you could sell all your lemonade. If you keep it at 50 cents, your neighbor will sell all his lemonade. So at that situation, the lemonade sales are very elastic with respect to price. Now, how does this work in real estate and interest rates? Well, let's consider buyers and sellers, and let's start with a seller. Most homeowners, if they purchase the home before April of 2022, using a mortgage, have a rate of 3 to 3.5% or maybe lower. If interest rates are 7, very hard for them to make a move. The payment is just too much higher unless they're willing to take less house. And that's why most of the sellers we're seeing right now are relocation and moving out of the area. There's been a death in the family or there's been a divorce. That's the majority of the homes we're seeing hit the market. Now let's say rates go from 7% to 6%. That's great. Except if your interest rate's at 3%, you still can't make that jump. You're not going to get a larger, better house in a better neighborhood at the same payment. You can't afford to move up at that point, and that's why we're seeing sellers stay put. And that's why sellers are very inelastic to interest rate changes. If the rate goes from 7 to 6 or even down to 5, that's still not enough to motivate them and to give them the opportunity to buy a better house. So they stay where they are, and that is an inelastic market with respect to interest rates. Now let's look at buyers. If you've been on the market for the last 60 days, you've got a pre-approval letter. Say it's at 7%. You know what you can buy. You roughly know how many beds it's going to be, what the neighborhood is, how large the house will be. Rates go from 7 to 6.5. That 0.5% drop in interest rates gives you 5% more purchasing power. Drops from 7 to 6, it gives you 10% more purchasing power. What does that do for you as a buyer? That's an extra bedroom. Maybe it's a pool, bigger yard, bigger house, better neighborhood. Point is, it makes a material difference in what you can purchase when rates drop 0.5 to a point. And if you've been in the market, that's when you jump. And if you look back at what happened when interest rates fell early this year, mortgage applications went up, sales went up, prices went up. The buyers are soaking up the inventory because while the buyers are very elastic and they jump at a 1% or 0.5% interest rate reduction, the sellers are not. Just because rates went to 7 to 6%, you're not going to see a lot more homes on the market, but you are going to see more buyers. And that's why the difference in elasticity between buyers and sellers to interest rates is going to prop up prices. We're not going to see sellers start jumping because interest rates drop until rates get below 4, maybe 4.5%. So as interest rates bounce around here over the next year If they stay above 5 or 6%, you're going to see buyer activity every time they drop, and then you'll see buyers pull back every time they go up. And that's what the difference in elasticity is going to do for the market. It's going to support prices and help prevent a 2008 type housing crash. And that's something to think about.